It never uses any oil at all in between oil changes. I change the oil between 25 and 50 hours depending on conditions, where I'm flying from, things like that. It does have the auxiliary quarter quart sump. It has a washable screen in it versus having a full filter on it. You can see the tires are quite small. Right now it is on the trailer, ready to tow down the road. They're a 400 by 10 series 4-inch wheel. They work quite well. There's not a lot of give in these suspension here. It's literally Cadillac valve springs inside of these tubes here, so they dampen somewhat, but your landings are definitely felt if you don't move them smoothly. The vortex generators increased the performance on the airplane quite a bit as far as takeoff, and decreased the stall speed, of course. The wings are held on by 2 bolts, one on each spar, and the rear spar, and each wing has 2 tapered pins that, I'm not sure if you can see them, go right in these holes here on the wing. Very simple to put in. The wing panels themselves, as you can see over here, only weigh 22.5 pounds apiece. That's including the stool type tips, and so they're very easy to move around by yourself. I put this in together and apart by myself the majority of the time. Right now the aircraft is not complete. I can tell you I've not polished this airplane for about a year. It's just a lot of work. I would prefer to fly it versus having it look perfect. So today it's a little dirty from the last couple of runs, and I keep it here in the garage when I'm not flying it in the winter. Or if the weather gets bad, I can bring it home. It's very versatile in that respect. As you can see, it's very straight. Everything's good. The Canopy is my own design and build, and it really increased comfort in it. It also increased speed quite a bit. So let's get this open, take a look inside real quick, get the cover out of here, take a good look at what's inside of here. There's not much to it. As you can see, there's literally a seat sitting inside of the wing section. It's a side stick, nice mahogany grip, and you can see there that's the fuel indicator, sitting about 4 gallons right there. Very basic instrumentation. You've got an altimeter, airspeed indicator, and a whiskey compass. Other than that, you have dual RPM gauges. I didn't trust the mechanical ones, so I installed a Teenie Two. Besides that, with the Teenie Two, you now have hours on the engine that I did not have before. It was all just logbooks. It's a single hand brake, just one single setup. It goes to both, so no differential braking. Works extremely well. You can actually lock up the tires if you'd like. Obviously not a great idea. Here's the carb heat, the primer. You've got the CHT, oil temperature, and oil pressure. On-off switch. Very simple. If it's running, your on switch works. If it shuts down, you know that it'll ground out your mags correctly. Push to talk inside. The stick. Make it very simple. I put my handheld radio right over here, and that connects into it so I can wear a typical aviation headset. And it makes it very easy to operate. And then to let go of the stick. So basically, you sit down, grab the stick, grab the throttle. You don't ever have to move your hands. As you can see, the Canopy right now is cracked. However, I have all the materials and I'm just getting to work on building a brand new canopy for it. The Canopy itself increased the speed about 5 or 6 miles an hour over when I purchased it. And again, the noise levels are way reduced, much more comfortable that way. So we'll be getting a new canopy here in the next couple of weeks. Brand new glass. It's just getting crazed. This was a prototype I built 5 years ago. Never replaced it because it worked so well. Canopy will sit back just a little bit further from here, allow you to get to the fuel tank a little easier without having to open the canopy. The fuel tank, again, is just a header tank. It's about 8.5 gallons. I've never fly it completely full. As you might be able to see, it slops if you fly more than about 6 gallons. Since it only burns 2.3 gallons per hour of fuel, you really don't need to go out much more than about 5 or 6 gallons to just put around the area. I typically go out with 3 gallons on a routine basis and still have well more than that in reserve when I come back. You can see it's single magneto, single plugs. They're adapted automotive regular plugs, so they're cheap to operate. I change them out about every 100 hours. It runs much better off of regular unleaded than it does on low lead. Low lead tends to foul the plugs just a little bit quicker. It's also no electrical system, so you start it standing back here. As you can see, you have full access to the throttle, so you can stand in front of the wing, grab the throttles, pop it over, and get ready to go. The handbrake does lock and will hold the aircraft even to a full static run-up before it'll start sliding, so it's as long as you make sure your brake is set, it's not a big deal. As you can see, the engine's extremely clean. Overall, the airplane, other than just being dirty from the last flight out, is a very clean aircraft. There's not a lot of signs that it's a 4-year-old aircraft. The very few things that you can see, little things like this from maybe a hangar or somebody stepped on it, I'm not really sure which. Very slight curving on the materials here. Otherwise, it's very clean. You'll notice that the aircraft is polished, however the wings are not. I found out the hard way that they made a lot of reflective sun into the cockpit because of the dihedral on the wing, and made a lot of heat inside the cockpit because of it. So by painting the top surface of the wing with an aluminum colored paint after some primer, it really cooled things down, a lot less glare, and it's way more comfortable to fly. The wingtips were probably the biggest thing that I did to the aircraft as far as performance goes. You can see from this angle that they're swept up at the tip instead of swept down, just because they're only about 18 inches off of the ground when flying. They decreased my ground roll from 450 to 350 feet at sea level, and up at a field elevation off of dirt. The field elevation was 4,600 feet, density altitude was 7,600 feet the day I tested those, and it decreased my ground roll from 600 feet to 450 feet, so the performance difference is huge. Again, this is one of my own design props, and I have an Ivo prop that could go with it as well. I just wasn't happy with the performance, so I elected to go this route. Again, there's what you can see from the engine. I have not put this up, this is just how it sits. Overall, the airplane's an extremely fun aircraft to fly. Very sensitive in roll response. Pitch response is anything like a typical Cessna. It does exactly what you tell it to do. Since it's push rod controls, it does exactly what you tell it to do, when you tell it to do it, and sometimes before you think you have it. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. I would not say that it's twitchy. People have said that it's a twitchy aircraft. It's not twitchy unless you are the one that's making it twitchy. Anyway, if you have any questions, please post them below. I'll have a link to any other future videos posted below as well. Thanks for looking.